Hello, and welcome to Impera Project, a project built on a dream. Since we have last spoken, we have noticed that a lot of people have joined our small community. We welcome each and every one of you with open arms, and we hope your stay here is going to be a pleasant one. Today we are going to share with you the first episode of a new series entitled Why Should You Read? A series in which we want to keep you up to date with the most recent books we have read, both philosophical and not. We hope we will manage to make you curious and give you the want to actually go and check them out. And of course, in the comment section you can tell us what you have read, and we will probably read them as well. Now, without any further ado, let's start here. You've probably heard already of George Orwell. Nowadays he is really popular because one of his books, 1984, in which he criticized totalitarianism, seems to have been an accurate depiction of where society is going. Now, we don't really believe it will actually go that far, but the world he envisioned for the future does share some grim similarities with our world at this very moment. We will make a video in which we discuss this subject in detail in the future. Today we want to touch on the subject, why should you read Animal Farm by George Orwell. George Orwell was not keen on the idea of totalitarianism, and also you should note that this book was written in 1945, the fatidic year in which World War II has ended, leading to the collapse of three dictatorships, the Third Reich, Italy, and the Japanese Empire. So that means only one was still standing, the Soviet Union and other communist states under the red flag. That being said, it is already clear that Orwell's book, Animal Farm, is a critique against communism and in special against the USSR. Now, about the way the book itself is written, well, some say it is a book for children, and we agree up to a certain point. The text is pretty short, written in plain English, and does not require too much knowledge or attention to be properly understood. But Animal Farm actually raises some pretty interesting questions, meant for somewhat more educated people. The most interesting part is that the story itself explains in an easy and beautiful fashion why communism will never work. Let's start analyzing the story. We will touch only briefly on the most important aspects, but still, spoilers ahead. The book starts with a gathering of all the animals at Manor Farm around the old major, who is a pig and a metaphor of Lenin or Karl Marx, a true visionary who believes in the justice of his mission. The animals are quickly persuaded by his words of a revolution and of a world where all animals are equal and free of human oppression. He dies a couple of days later and two leaders rise up to start the fight, Napoleon and Snowball, metaphors of Stalin and Trotsky. Please note that the old major, Napoleon and Snowball are all pigs. It is important later on. After a riot breaks out, the owner of the farm, Mr. Jones, who represents Tsar Nicholas II, is driven out of the farm and the animals quickly become their own masters. But Mr. Jones comes back trying to take the farm back from the insurgent animals, similar to the civil war between the red and white armies, but is quickly defeated. Now that animalism is adopted as the main ideological component of the new regime, animalism being how Orwell refers to communism, the idea of a great construction starts to flourish under the supervision of Snowball. Soon, another struggle for power begins with a fight between Napoleon and Snowball, the two pig leaders who could never agree with one another. Napoleon successfully takes the power and villainizes Snowball, who is forced to run from the farm. This is clearly an analogy to the fight between Stalin and Trotsky, which culminated with Trotsky being exiled and later assassinated. Napoleon, now proclaimed dictator, referred later as Comrade Napoleon, creates his own security force made of hounds taken from birth and educated under his supervision, and murders the other pigs and some other animals who were believed to be spies. This is a reference to the Great Purge and the paranoia which plagued Stalin. While the rules of the farm stated that the animals shall not deal with humans, Napoleon starts trading with the other farm owners, Mr. Frederick and Mr. Pilkington. A new invasion starts, this time led by Mr. Frederick, which is believed to symbolize the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact and Operation Barbarossa, which soon followed. But in the end, all the effort, all the blood spilled is in vain. The book ends with the animals being enslaved, lied to, and with Napoleon dressed as a human being and walking on 2 feet, drinking, smoking and playing cards alongside the humans which up to that moment were considered enemies. The book ends with a sad statement which unfortunately shows the hidden side of the human character, with the same irony and tone which are present throughout the entire book. Orwell concludes, "The creatures outside look from pig to man, and from man to pig, and from pig to man again, but already it was impossible to say which was which." We believe that pigs were not chosen by mistake as the main characters of this story. Pigs are considered to be similar to human beings in many aspects, from intellect to behavior. As Churchill so charmingly put it, "I am fond of pigs. Dogs look up to us, cats look down on us, pigs treat us as equals." The pig is also considered to be the main metaphor of people without principles. The pigs can eat anything in enough time. Without manners, pigs are dirty. And without measure, pigs are very fat. There are a lot of these comparisons. The sheep represent the stupid people who cannot or do not judge and are devoid of reason. Throughout the book, they repeat only one thing: 2 feet bad, 4 feet good. But when Comrade Napoleon starts walking on 2 feet, they quickly change the tune without any hesitation. 4 feet good, 2 feet better. Boxer, a very strong horse, represents the actual believer in communism, the one that is strong and will-driven, but not very clever. Boxer always works hard in the book, but cannot understand the power games which happen. He cannot read, he can only work, and he repeats, "Comrade Napoleon is always right." Overall, the book Animal Farm is a critique of communism, but it is also an explanation why communism will never work. A thing which Karl Marx also acknowledges in the Communist Manifesto. This ideology is the perfect opportunity for selfish and opportunistic people to get their hands on power and subjugate others. Things which happen in history way too many times. This idea is represented perfectly by how the 7 commandments change from day to day, the clearest example being, all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. We tried our best to explain the meaning of the book without spoiling too much or going too deep in details. We hope you will give it a try. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like and share the video. Also, leave your favorite book in the comment section below. We wish you a beautiful day.